What is up, everybody? It is Friday, May 27th, 2022 AD. Did you hear me? I said it's Friday, May 27th, 2022 AD. On Monday, it'll be Memorial Day observed, right? Is that how it works? Memorial Day, honoring the fallen dead. And we will be live, is the plan, for the J.C. Lee Peterson Show and the Hake Report. So we will have a show on Monday, okay? That's the plan. But the office will be closed. And we're going to have a fun, loosey-goosey Friday show, guys. Did you catch my appearance last night on the Crucible versus Vaush about so-called sexual morality, as if there is such a thing? Because morality, I said, is not sexual. Let me know what you thought, if you caught it. Tonight I'm going to be on the Hippy Dippy Roundtable with Dylan Burns TV on his Twitch channel. And then it'll get uploaded on his YouTube. And of course, tomorrow, Asmodor's show, Asmodor on Odyssey. AZZMADOR is the channel. ODYSEE.com/@Asmodor. And you can check all that out on thehakereport.com/appearances. But I'm going to be talking a lot of trash, be child-friendly here, about Jacinda Ardern today. She's the New Zealand woman, female prime minister of New Zealand. I became aware of her after a mosque shooting at Christchurch, New Zealand. What a shame. Press 1 if my stream is working on Odyssey, guys. Press 2 if it stinks. And I will be reading your super chats and getting to your calls. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys, we're gonna be talking about the phony anti-NRA people. Oh my gosh. Next Wednesday I have a debate, I'm looking at this thing, about LGBT mess. I have had a lot of appearances, guys. Hope you enjoy it. And rest in peace, Ray Liotta.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. It is Friday. Busy day today. Busy day yesterday, too. We have the Fallen State. We have Nick's stream. Catch Nick's stream live on YouTube, 4 p.m. That is, he is a fellow host on the J.C. Lee Peterson network, on J.C. Lee Peterson's network. That's cool. And, of course, the Fallen State with that Gothics gal. That's cool. That's going to be coming out today. And then Saturday, you're supposed to take the day off, right? Or at least one day a week. Take a day of rest. God did it. So can you, or should you, generally, right? I say so. And then after a day of rest, I'll be back on the Crypto Report. That's cool. TKR Official on Telegram, guys. You know, before I get to the calls, there are a few calls to get to. You can call in 888-775-3773. I just want to point out that there's some phoniness. It's kind of evil versus evil. Don't be too quick to rush to the NRA's defense, but don't fall for these phony anti-NRA people. Uncover that flag, man. Oh yeah, I covered it up because I was on a different YouTube channel, a different channel, And they may have been streaming on Twitch, and Twitch doesn't like this, I heard. Twitch hates Christian flags, Christian Southern flags that white people like, and some blacks down there, too, the sensible ones. This is a quote from the phony anti-NRA people. Well, this guy is supposedly an NRA guy. I'm a Second Amendment guy, but the Second Amendment should not apply to everyone. It's that simple. And I think that everyone to whom he refers is that Hispanic, perhaps an anchor, maybe, I don't know, who was a misfit, a miserable person, an angry young man, and shot up that school over in Texas. And that's a quote from country singer Larry Gatlin, if you ever heard of him. I haven't heard of him, but that's not saying much. It's not like I know a lot about country music or even movies or anything. I didn't even know that Ray Liotta was on Field of Dreams. Was that him? Was he one of the baseball players? I don't know, because I was a child when I watched that movie. I only recognized Kevin Costner. You know, Robin Hood. He canceled his upcoming performance. That's not a reason. The Second Amendment should not apply to everyone. Therefore, I'm canceling my appearance. What logic does that make? I don't even know if the pro-Second Amendment people necessarily think that the Second Amendment applies to everyone. How about illegals? Illegals, they shouldn't even be here. Or this guy, I don't know. I don't think that the issue was that he had a gun. The issue was that he had evil anger in his heart and in his mind. You know? But anyway, this guy, Larry Gatlin, is falling for the hype. He fell for it. And he's an older guy, too. At this week's annual NRA convention in Houston, Texas, in the wake of the tragic school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. Talk about a scapegoat. And then NRA, I grant you, they are rhinos. I was reading this there's one line open, guys, wow. I was reading this in Hake News at the end of hour, maybe one of the Jesse Lee Peterson show, about these people talking about, well, I mean, the NRA, they send you junk mail. They are under major attack, and it's unjustified attack from people who are who are worse than them. You know, the federal government and others. Lawyers/liars. I also support, and I recommend you support, Gun Owners of America. But I appreciate NRA for what they've done. They've maybe fallen far. You know, they're kind of, when you get that big and powerful, a lot of corrupt people go in and then turn it liberal, and they've gone to be kind of rhinos. But anyway, I'm a lifetime member. And I appreciate, Charlton Heston was an NRA guy. He was that actor who was, at least he presented himself as an honorable man, I think. And I appreciated Wayne LaPierre, talking sense. 10 years ago, it was like December 2012, I think. There was an NRA speech by Wayne LaPierre, who said the way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. And the mainstream media freaked out at the truth. And this was right after a mass school shooting. I forget which one it was. I think it would have been Newtown, Connecticut. And there have been young men, boys, who wear NRA t-shirts with it says, "Defend your right," and it has a nice, cool rifle, quote-unquote assault rifle. There are times for assault, right? Assault rifle on it, if there's such a thing. And he got sent home. That's when I bought an NRA t-shirt. But it's ridiculous. And you know who else canceled his appearance? Is that Rhino Governor, Greg Abbott out of Texas. But our real president, Donald J. Trump, is not canceling his appearance. He is going to be there. America needs real solutions and real leadership in this moment, not politicians and partisanship. That's why I will keep my longtime commitment to speak in Texas at the NRA convention and deliver an important address to America, Trump said. In the meantime, we all continue to pray for the victims, their families, and for our entire nation. We are all in this together. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Right on, President Trump. Not right on to Greg Abbott, who is not tough and real like Trump is, generally. I will be reading your super chats, guys. I appreciate that. Getting some feedback on the Vaush debate, the debate with Vaush, whom J.C. Lee has talked to a couple of times, and I've talked to him a couple of times. Yesterday, I talked with him about so-called sexual morality. Really, we talked more about sexual immorality and the temptation and danger of getting into that mess. But let me get to, how do you pronounce this second line to Dabin in New Mexico? Dabin, how are you doing?
Hey, James, how's it going?
Going well, thank you.
Hey, so I just, I heard that there was a caller on Jesse's show today, and they were talking about dropping your body with anger or what have you. And I don't think I've ever heard you talk about what you believe. You might have, but I might just don't remember. But what do you believe happens when you drop your body with existing problems, anger? I mean, with suicide. What do you think happens when you do that?
Are you on a speaker? It's a good question, but what are you on, a speakerphone or a Bluetooth or a headset or something? It's getting, there's like a loud scratch, loud brief click or scratch that happens when you're talking to me.
Man, I'm sorry if it's doing that. It's an Obama phone, so.
Oh, okay. Well,
but no, I'm talking directly on the phone speaker.
Nice, man.
I'm sorry if it's making any kind of scratching noises.
Okay, so, and it's Dabin, right?
Yeah.
Nice, man. Okay, so, I mean, it seems like we either go to heaven or we go to hell, or we go into, I don't know what happens.
The only reason why I was asking was because one of my best friends committed suicide in 2019, and you know, it just, sometimes the thought just creeps up on me, and I just get reeled in, and it's hard to escape it. And
what thought creeps up on you?
Just the thought of my friend committing suicide, and just curious as to what could possibly happen when you commit suicide. With you know, because it always makes me wonder if you just stay lingering around with your and on a realm where you can still see things, where you can still view reality as we do, but you just can't be heard or seen, but you still hear just lingering with these problems, with these problems that are just not have been resolved. And so that's what I believe. But
you believe what?
So
I didn't catch what you say you believe.
I just believe that you stay lingering on a reality as ourselves, where you can see people, but you just can't be heard or seen. But you're just wandering around with these problems that existed when you were still alive. But you believe that there's no in between, right? You just go to heaven or hell.
I mean, I don't know. I have heard that people are kind of going to remember one of them went to Abraham's bosom.
Oh, okay.
This was according to Jesus's parable, which I don't know if Jesus was saying this is how it happens, but there was a rich guy, ruler or whatever, who died, and there's a poor beggar, Lazarus or whatever, who died.
Mm-hmm.
And not the same Lazarus as the one who died and was raised back. But there was this guy beggar who died, who had sores on his body, and he went to Abraham's bosom, which sounds funny, but it's like he went to a place, and then the guy who was in hell saw the guy and asked for him for some water, but God told him, you didn't give him any water, so you're not getting water. Something like that. Okay. But I don't know if Jesus was saying that's how it's going to be, or if he was just making an illustration of, you reap what you sow in this life or the next or whatever. I don't know if you you don't want to dwell on the unknown, and it's not real. I say that it's not real love for your friend to wonder, like to dwell on that, or to get, as you know, you don't want to get sucked into these dark thoughts, and because it is darkness, you don't know, and it's not up to you. It's between your friend and God what happened with him and what is happening with him, if whatever.
Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah, it's.
I
remember when I was a kid. I do remember when I was a kid, or a young man actually, too. I was wanting. I was a Christian, right? I wanted my friends to be quote unquote saved. I didn't want them to go to hell. But I should have been just relaxing and paying attention to myself, because even as I got more and more into Christianity, I got more and more like weird and into stuff that I didn't worried about, stuff that I didn't need to worry about, and twisted further away from God. I was like falling further away from God when I was worrying about both myself and my state as well as my friends. Like I wasn't necessarily heaven bound, but I was worrying about my friends going to hell. I think we need to not worry about one another, or worry, period. It is. I can understand it's disturbing. I think I think suicide is evil.
Yeah.
What a shame, huh? What an idiot, really. To do that.
It's just hard to. It's just. I mean. Yeah. It's just hard to know. It's hard to believe that someone you care about would want to commit suicide, and I believe that no man is good, but I mean people can be decent to some extent, and it's hard when that happens. So
he seemed decent to you.
Yeah, he, judging just by what by how Jesse. How Jesse tends to explain what's considered to be good or bad. I didn't consider him a bad person. He always cared about other people. He always asked and made sure that you were having a good day. Just stuff like that. I mean that doesn't really say much,
right?
But maybe it just goes back to the emotional aspect of things and your feelings, I suppose.
That sounds kind of like he was a little bit of like a mama. He wanted to be considerate. He was doing his best, and he was like blind, looking for trying to be a loving person. Reminds me of. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. It reminds you of what?
It reminds me of. I once heard that who's supposedly funny comedian, played Peter Pan. He's fat. He was in Robin Williams. Robin Williams, I heard, used to go to like these, I don't know what type of meetings. You know what? Those group therapy type meetings. I don't know if it was AA or what, but he said, ask the person who seems fine how they're doing. And so, like, that reminds me of what the type of thing that your friend would do. Like, he was cared about other people and stuff like that. But Robin Williams, as you may know, also committed suicide. And, he was a miserable person on the inside. So I think this fake love that we get into, caring about our friends and caring about people, it's not what it seems. It's because I think real love, you would never commit suicide if you had like real love.
Real love.
I think.
But, yeah, well, I know for a fact that he had his dad left when at a young age, and he was raised by his mother, and you could tell that he always had this anger, this inner contempt for her. But it was a weird relationship for sure. But
right.
He did have problems with his father being gone. I know he probably did have anger for a fact.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's more. There's so many different ways that evil comes out. People slowly self-destruct, or they just off themselves. And I'm not judging the suicider as worse than the people who just slowly do themselves in, but I'm judging the act, because the act is, like, to me, it's so wrong.
Yeah, man, it haunts me. I try not to think about it, but there's just things that remind me of my friend, and then these dark thoughts just start to creep up on me, and they just reel me in, and it's hard to escape them, and I just need to do the silent prayer more often, so I can learn how to listen, so I can be more aware of my thoughts.
I can understand the getting sucked into thoughts and having them plague you, and having the emotions, but I don't know if it's wise to, like, try not to.
Mm-hmm.
Like JLP frequently says, I think you catch church regularly, that
I catch it every. Go ahead.
Yeah, he says let them come and relax in that pain.
I like that. That does actually sound really. It sounds realistic to just feel whatever is happening. I do agree with that. That does.
Yeah, and
otherwise you can't.
And then you don't heed any of the solutions that the thoughts may pop into your mind about what to do about it. Right. Necessarily. So
just feel whatever's happening, but don't have a solution to fix it or.
Well, I'm saying that. I'm only saying that because, when you're like, if you're all broken up over whatever, a girl or something, you may want to, like, reach out to somebody or whatever, contact somebody and be like, oh, how you doing? And then you fall into the same trap that your friend fell into, this this trying to salve your lack of peace by being a light being an imaginary light in the world in your own mind, or whatever. There's all kinds of different ways, or smoke pot or drink or whatever. Don't heed those temptations to escape it. Is what I meant.
Okay, well,
but
I like that. I like that advice.
Yeah, man. And if you want counseling, JLP is the expert on this type of stuff. If you want private counseling, JLP, as you know, I'm sure, offers private counseling, or you can call his show. But yeah, that's I can imagine it would be pretty crazy for a committed friend to commit suicide like that. Close friend.
Yeah, it is, but I try to just ignore it for the most part, but it only works to an extent. But I will give Jesse's private counseling. I will give it a shot. So I think I might just call it in and schedule it. And see how that goes. But I just wanted to see what you thought about those kind of things, and I really appreciate all the input you have on that. So.
Right on, man. I appreciate you, Dabin.
I want to,
and we don't know. It's not up to us. We're not God to even know what happens to our friends when they die or family or whatever. It's really not. It's not up to us, even ourselves. So, anyway, right on, man.
All right, man. Well, you have a great day then.
Okay, you too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Whew. Let me quickly read this story about Ray Liotta. Speaking of death. That's sleazy Joe Biden. Dead. He is survived by his daughter, Carson, with a K, no O in it, Karsen, and his fiancée, JC Nitolo. That's what Ray Liotta, the actor who died in his sleep at age 67 while working on a movie in the Dominican Republic. His publicist, Jennifer Allen, told Commie Nonsense Network CNN. And some people speculate about maybe he was vaccinated with some type of vaccine, maybe one of the vaccines that are real popular and controversial right now. I don't want to get into speculation, so I'm not saying yes, and I'm not saying no, but I do wonder. I heard that he was pretty in shape. I mean, 67 years old, it's not that old, and he wasn't too fat or anything. My friend's dad died, I think, also in his sleep some months back. To give you another anecdote, which doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it just, makes me wonder, right? Allegedly, he died of a heart attack, my friend's dad. And he was 65, I want to say, or 64, something like that. Early to mid-60s. He wasn't obese, too, I don't think, as I recall. He was tired one day, went in and laid down, and I think his daughter found him, adult daughter found him in his, dead in his bedroom. What a shame, huh? Survived by his widow, really. The whole family was vaccinated, I hear. I'm talking about my friend's dad, right? Some months prior. And so I'm like, I wonder if that had anything to do with anything. Again, I'm not making any assumptions, I'm not speculating, YouTube, but I don't know. I do think that the mainstream media and the establishment, social media, and all these people are overly quick to dismiss things, these fact-checker types, too quick to deny or too quick to assert things that may not be true or that they really don't know or they don't really have the whole story. Reminds me of when Darren Wilson, former officer Darren Wilson, just to give you a side note, former officer Darren Wilson, and then we will get to your calls. Hang tight if you hear my voice. The police chief or police whatever who over in Ferguson, Missouri, this is an example of the media getting it wrong, making assumptions that are false. The police spokesman, if you will, said he did not know whether Officer Darren Wilson, who shot the gentle giant Mike Brown in the streets of Ferguson, Missouri, whether he knew about the stolen cigarillos, Swisher Sweets, allegedly stolen, right? The strong arm robbery, strong arm store assault that Mike Brown was caught on surveillance camera committing just before he was seen in the middle of the street on, Canfield Drive. And Darren Wilson, it turned out, did know about that, the stolen cigarillos or whatever they were. I don't know if they were stolen or not. I think that they might have been. He did know about that. It was called in, and he spotted him in the guy's hand. He's like, hey, come here. At first, he's all, get the blank out of the street. He might have cussed, right? So I just assumed that he said blank. But the mainstream media, when the guy said, I don't know if it's the case, they said, oh, he didn't know. I don't know if it was the mainstream media, but I do remember phony people on Twitter spreading disinformation. Darren Wilson didn't know anything about the store robbery. Well, actually, it turned out he did know. So same thing here, like with the different side effects of different medicine, there is this jumping to conclusions, and it seems to me to be too quick. Too quick to assert something or to deny something has any connection. You know, with the kids getting Asperger's or whatever, autism. They say there's no connection. There's been studies, there's no connection with the vaccines. And they may be right, but I don't know. Just like some of us make mistakes, right? When we jump to conclusions, so, it turns out we were wrong. But many of us, I dare say, are more honest and less misguided than the mainstream media or so-called experts. So anyway, rest in peace, Ray Liotta. Was he Italian? He played those mafia types. Let me get to Chad in the Dominican Republic. Hey, speak of the devil. Dominican Republic. Is that the devil? What's up, Chad? How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing well, James. How are you?
Doing well as well. Thank you, man.
James, Hake is on fire.
Thank you.
I caught a little bit of your interview last night, but it was a bit of a snore fest. Vaush is not the most entertaining individual.
It was a bit of a snore fest, you said.
Yeah, everything you were saying was just spot on, and he's trying to corner you with, well, is this immoral? And is this immoral? And right away I'm thinking, yeah.
Nice.
Well, why don't you see that?
Right. That's cool, man.
I wanted
Thanks
to
for checking that out.
talk about Ray Liotta, because he just died a couple hours away from me in the Capitol of a heart attack, and already everybody around here is speculating. You know what they're speculating. I don't want to say it out loud. I don't want to get you kicked
what I
off
was
of
just
YouTube,
mentioning, right?
That's what
They were speculating what I was just mentioning?
That's the talk of the town around here.
Yeah. Okay, so
That's
even
the
like
talk of the
normal
town.
people in person in the Dominican Republic whom you are familiar with are speculating about that? Is that what you're saying?
Right. What I understand in Spanish, people around here, they still have some semblance of common sense, and they don't really do the COVID thing around here. That's kind of why I came here from Canada.
From Canada. I was going to guess. I was going to say that. I've had forgotten. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so that's all about I wanted to say, because it's near and dear to my heart. He's all close by, and I did like him as an actor. He seemed like a half-decent fellow.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
While I was on hold, I was thinking about something when the other caller was talking about suicide. I have a question for you, because I don't know personally, and I don't know what you personally believe, but I was wondering what you think about sitting at the pearly gates. Do you think there's some sort of line, and do you think that you have time to repent while you're waiting for St. Peter to go through your file?
I was distracted. I apologize. Pardon me. I was distracted when you were talking. I was looking up Ray Liotta, Field of Dreams, and indeed, it was the guy whom I pictured. Man, he was so much younger. Okay. Repeat your question. Sorry.
So I'm wondering, I don't know personally, I'm just wondering what you think personally. Is there a lineup at the pearly gates, and do you think that you have time to repent while you're waiting for St. Peter to go through your file?
I don't think that. I would doubt.
Okay, right.
I would doubt that.
Nobody knows, right?
I wouldn't take that risk. That's for sure. But anyway.
Oh, absolutely. Trying to get right.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, there's no so
Is
there's
that
no
something that
line
you
according
think?
to Hake.
There's no what?
I don't. Well, I don't think that, but obviously I don't know. But that's not something I think. I think that you get your chance in here on Earth, and you hope and pray that you make it to those pearly gates. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Nobody knows. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, Chad.
Well, all right.
Take care, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate your show, and lots more years to you.
Thank you. Same to you. Take care.
Adios.
All right. Bye. Let me quickly get to Joe in Idaho on this topic, too. Joe, what's up?
Hake,
Hey.
I just wanted to comment on Ray Liotta and what you had said regarding him dying from a heart attack at an early age, 67. It's actually not that unusual for someone that age to die of a heart attack or to have heart disease.
I don't know if Ray Liotta died of a heart attack. They said that he died in his sleep. I don't know if it was a heart attack. My friend's father died of a heart attack, and it may have been. I just not saying that it was or wasn't. My friend's father, who was in his mid-60s, died of a heart attack. He smoked a lot, but it wasn't particularly. He wasn't in shape, but he wasn't fat. He was Asian.
Right. Yeah.
Worked at like a meat market or something.
Yeah, I mean, well, that makes sense then. Because one of the main contributing factors to heart disease is cholesterol.
Right. And that can hide. You don't have to be that fat to have a lot of cholesterol.
Right, yeah, you don't have to be fat at all.
Right.
To have high cholesterol.
Yep.
And if you're eating cholesterol-containing foods every day, then that's going to clog your arteries, and that's what can contribute to a heart attack or heart disease. And only animal products contain cholesterol.
Isn't there good and bad cholesterol, supposedly?
Your body naturally produces good and bad cholesterol.
Okay.
But any cholesterol that you would consume in a food product is going to be the bad cholesterol, which is why you should avoid eating animal products.
Oh, yeah, you're that. Are you vegan or vegetarian?
I'm vegan all the way.
Yeah, and Ray Liotta was an Italian, and those Italians, they eat pasta and meat.
Well, pasta doesn't necessarily have cholesterol. Most pasta is cholesterol-free.
Yeah, but it has other stuff that's not that good for you, right?
No, I mean, especially if you're eating whole grain pasta, then that's very healthy for you. If you're eating white pasta, not so much. But even white pasta doesn't contain cholesterol.
I know, but cholesterol is not the only evil.
No, it's not the only evil, but you can be very healthy and eat pasta. Pasta isn't that bad. People seem to think that pasta is...
Does pasta contribute to constipation? Sorry, people.
Not if you're eating whole grain pasta.
Oh, really?
Like whole wheat pasta. That's actually has a lot of fiber in it. So.
Is that gluten?
Whole wheat would contain gluten, but unless you have celiac disease, you don't have to worry about that. And very few people have celiac disease.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate the input from a. I forget if you said vegan or vegetarian.
I'm vegan.
Yeah.
All the way vegan.
How long have you been that way? How many years?
I've been
since what
vegan
age?
for 32 years, and I was vegetarian 7 years before that.
Over a woman?
No. Although it was a woman that influenced me originally, but it wasn't a romantic thing.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the best decision I ever made in my life, and
you think
I'm extremely healthy now because of it. Oh yeah, when I go to the doctor, do I what?
Did you used to be fat?
I was fat when I was a teenager. Yeah.
Okay. Now you're fit.
Yeah. Now I'm fit. Oh yeah.
That's cool, man. You active?
Yep, I work out five days a week. very fit, very active. And my doctor once told me that if he could have anyone's health for his own, he would pick mine.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, Joe, in Idaho.
Joe in Idaho, that's me.
Formerly PDX.
Yes. So glad to be out of there.
I wish you well, man. Have a good weekend.
All right, thanks. Take care.
All right, you too. Before I get back to calls, let me finally cover this. You know what? I got to read some super chats. I'm going to cover this Jacinda Ardern woman, and I use the term loosely, but have some feedback from the Vaush debate yesterday. Did you catch it? Brandon M. gave a super chat on Odyssey, ODYSEE.com/@ the Hake Report. The only thing potentially worse than your music is listening to Vaush talk about his adventures in sodomy. It's like worse that I call attention to it by hesitating in saying it. I might as well just say the word if I'm going to say the word. What a mess. But thank you, Brandon M. Yeah, Hake music is greater than listening to Vaush repeat the shameful things. Based America First with a super chat on streamlabs.com/the Hake Report. Shout out. Says, great debate. Hake understatement. You're the weird one. Vaush says literacy. Vaush says literacy is more dangerous than sexual promiscuity. Example of atheist intellectual rationalizing. Nobody gets STDs from a book. Chat said I sounded like the Taliban, which was cool. Base America First with a follow-up super chat. Vaush quotes the KJV, King James Version, and Christian theological, quote-unquote, doctrine to say love is feelings. Chat ridiculed him for not knowing agape, which is God's love. Much memorization with no understanding. He also said Hake doesn't know doctrine, but is more orthodox than most mainstream religions. Yeah, very interesting. Talking with Vaush again. I talked with him on my first appearance on the Hippy Dippy round table, which was back in like November of last year. And then prior to that, I talked with him in like January, what was it, 2019? 2020? Something like that. I think July 2019. I don't know. He was talked to Jesse on the Fallen State, and then Hake, and then Jesse and Elijah Schaefer on the Fallen State again. And then Hake talked to Vaush and Elijah Schaefer in that Fallen State debate, you may recall, toward the end. I'm like, you all talk about police reform. I'm like, what about black reform? How about some black reform? You know, because the black community, even the black community admits that they are in crisis. As almost said JLP, as Trump said, the black community is in hell. And the mainstream media hated him for that, for telling the truth. Oh, that's insulting. Danimal gave a super chat yesterday. I don't know if I read this one. Oh, there's a few super chats there. Danimal stated, this could be the start of a fund to get Hake a reverse osmosis water filter. Most tap water sources have heavy metals, fluoride, and other poisons. Thanks for your work, Hake and crew. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Another super chatter gave me like a whole amount of money, like over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, to go get waterwithvincent.com, something like that. Is it waterwithvincent.com? Anybody remember the URL? The emergency water that Real Vincent James was offering. A great news source. Anyway, thank you, Danimal. I appreciate that. It is filtered water that I drink nowadays. They've hooked it up to the tap so I can get it. But thank you. Appreciate that, Danimal. That is kind. And thank you for the warning. I suppose I should heed that, right? Willie Powell states, good luck debating blasphemy, the seven-headed beast, a.k.a. Vaush. Some people call him Vaush. The Lord is I think he's saying the Lord is with you, Hake. But he said, the Lord is you, Hake. You are on fire. Thank you, Willie Powell. And thank you, by the way, the supporters over there on subscribestar.com/The Hake Report. I hope you're enjoying the exclusive content. If not, let me know. And I like to give back a little extra. I walk and ramble on the streets outside of Bond here. I do keep my eyes peeled for snakes and blacks so that I don't get knockout gamed or snook up upon by a snake or a black or other evil thing. So, and I talk about giving a little bit of movie reviews and talk about what's on my mind and stuff like that. A little bit more personal. You get to look up my nostrils while I ramble and walk. But anyway, thank you for the people who support me on there and off there. That's cool. Let me get to Justin in Texas. He's on the line. Justin, how are you doing? Are you there? Justin going once.
Oh, hey, James.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good morning, James. How are y'all doing?
Fine. Had you had me on mute?
Yes, I totally forgot.
Yeah, no worries. That
How y'all
happens a
doing?
lot.
Hey, James, I was calling this morning because we have a lot of stuff going on in the world and on the media. I read this guy named David Rockefeller. He wrote his memoirs, and in the memoirs, he wrote, people categorize me. People believe me and my family are part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States. And he's basically, he said that...
He actually wrote that?
Yeah, you can Google it when on your free time. He said, if that's the charge, I stand guilty and I'm proud of it.
Wow.
And he also, another quote from his memoirs, David Rockefeller, don't forget that name. He said that the world just needs one major crisis and then they will accept the New World Order. So, I don't know, James. I don't know if all this stuff is really happening or if there's some political figures and like David Rockefeller, he owns the bank and the Federal Reserve. This isn't a nobody. So,
right.
Yeah, this is my question to you. Like, is it a possibility that what we're being fed to is just like part of a plan so we can accept something like these powerful dudes are writing in the books, or do you think it really happens?
Both. I think it really happens, and it is used and exploited, and some of it's planned and encouraged by these people. I think the government and the people who are powerful people, like they say, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Power corrupts. And I think it exposes the corruption of the people, but it also kind of enables you to do stuff and get away with stuff. The temptations of that power are kind of suck you in and reveal the corruption within that I think is in all people.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So certainly there is some willful subversion and evil and corrupting of the culture to prime the culture for just such attacks as, these attacks that we've seen. But if you calm down and think about it, like, so what if this attack is real? It doesn't warrant the attention that the world is putting on it and the diagnosis of the problem or the solution to the problem, false solutions that they're swooping in with. They are very deceiving to the people who are easily deceived. But these things can be real, but they are the evil people are ready to exploit them.
No, definitely. Like even 9/11, after even like tragedies like that, there's people
if you think about it, let's say, I don't know if you think that 9/11 was what we were told, but let's say it was what we were told. It would kind of make sense that type of a thing would happen, given that we've been such involved over there in the Middle East, and maybe not in right ways, probably not in right ways. And also that we've been very diverse over here and having those people come over here. We've kind of invited that type of attack. And then, of course, the evil people who are in the government are going to come in with false solutions.
Absolutely, like gun control.
Yeah.
And about 9/11, not only did it get us into a war, but it accomplished the people that are trying to bring New World Order and oppress us. It brought that Patriot Act that they can arrest you without due process.
Yeah.
And I think with all these shootings,
I think you might be right about that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And they use these crises to oppress us. Their whole idea and their dream is to be our rulers and us slaves and stuff like that. That's what I believe. Can I ask you, James, do you think these crises, like, I'm sorry to say, dude, I really am sorry for those families if it was true.
Say that again?
I said, I'm sorry for those families if it really was true, but I am not willing to give up my guns. I will not part with either one of them willingly, and I don't care what tragedy comes. I'm not willing to give up any rights.
Yeah, because that's not a solution. Taking away, I presume that you're a halfway decent man who's not going to do anything wrong. So that's no solution. It's no solution. In fact, the solution is more decent people armed and returning to decency, and logical men, not emotional women and female-minded intellectual males coming up with their false solutions. It's not, I'm sorry for those families, but it's condolences, and I'm not giving up anything. It's not the solution.
Right. What would be a good idea?
Get your families in order, type of thing.
Yeah, that or like parents. If the parents are the ones that are concerned, why don't they take on their free time and like volunteer to be security out of schools, and each of them take turns volunteering, and people that like guns can protect the schools and stuff like that.
Right. And be fathers and mothers, decent ones.
Yeah, James, I've seen families, like I've not seen it personally, but I've heard stories and seen videos of mothers murdering daughters, fathers murdering kids, kids murdering fathers. Matt Walsh said that, he said the same thing as you said, that it's because of lack of a father. And I don't believe that, man. I've seen people totally do some horrific things, and there's a full family,
Right. No, it's a full family, but them talking about being decent, being right as fathers. Mm. Yeah, there's a lot of weak fathers and evil mothers. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that children of whole families are necessarily better, because you are right. There's a lot. Look at the guy there was this famous guy who was a serial killer, and he was raised by, I think, his father and mother. And he was what did you say?
I think that's John Wayne Gacy.
I don't know if it was him that I was thinking of. I was thinking of another one of those famous guys. But I think they were raised by both, but they have to be right. The father has to be leading in the home. You don't believe in fathers leading their homes?
Oh, I do believe. I believe it's a terrible mistake for a mother to be a father figure. That's absolutely true. I agree with that. But at the same time, I'm seeing my sister and her baby's daddy. This dude don't even help put power because they're split up. This dude doesn't even put electricity or help my sister. So
that's feeding to my point.
Yeah, it's like disappointing, because that's how a lot of guys are. Not all, but most. Like,
but it takes two to tango. I mean, your sister's not easy to deal with, I'm sure.
Oh, I would imagine. I don't know.
We need responsibility for both.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And the kid absolutely needs the father figure, number one.
But not father figure, the actual father.
Right.
Yeah, and they need to do it right. And just because you're married doesn't mean you're doing it right. That's one step to doing it right, but you have to stay with everything.
Right.
Stay with what's right.
Hey, can I ask you one more question, James?
Yeah.
Cain Velasquez, he recently came to court and he was denied bail again. It happened like a couple of days ago.
Is that the MMA guy who shot? You called me about him before, right? Is that the MMA guy who shot his nephew's alleged abuser's uncle or whatever?
Yes, sir. But that was back then. He was recently denied bail again. And what's surprising to me is that no one seems to care that he popped off 3 shots. 1 hit the child molester, which no one's complaining, but 2 didn't hit anything. What if 2 of those bullets struck a child or struck a mother or a father or grandma or a friend? You know, those 2 stray bullets. No one seems to care about that. Oh, he's mad, so he's right. He's justified. Oh, like in my opinion, they both belong in prison, dude. They both, like, Cain Velasquez was more dangerous that day than the child molester because he could have killed somebody. Those 2 bullets that didn't hit the target, what if they hit somebody just chilling in their house or the car next to you or something like that? Oh, but I was angry, so that doesn't matter. Like, nobody seems to care about that, dude, or his followers. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And that's what I want to ask you: is a Christian, should they wish death or celebrate death upon people?
Should who wish and celebrate death upon people?
Like people that say they believe in God, should they rejoice in the death of or wish death upon somebody?
Not necessarily. Not usually. Yeah, you shouldn't really wish ill. Cain Velasquez is the guy. He had an attempted murder case up in Santa Clara, California. That's sort of north, I think. He was denied bail by Judge Shellyna, Shelyna. Is she a black lady? Yep. Okay. Anyway, just a side note. Black female judge denied him bail a second time, reciting Velasquez's reckless disregard for human life, as you just agreed.
Yeah, he could have. Those bullets. Who knows what? It didn't happen, thank God. But who knows what those bullets could have struck? It could have, like, you trying to honor, like avenge a child, and you could have, like, hurt the child in the process of, you know, trying to defend one. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
Like, potentially
39-year-old Cain, Cain. Interesting. Like Cain and Abel. Cain Velasquez allegedly chased down a man, Harry Eugene Goularte, who is being charged with molesting a young relative of Cain Velasquez, and shot a gun into Goularte's vehicle. And his stepfather, Goularte's stepfather, Paul Bender, was in the vehicle and hit by one of the bullets, suffered non-life-threatening injuries. So, don't know.
Yeah, they both belong in prison, in my opinion. That dude, because he did a sexual act towards the children, he belongs in prison. And all the prisoners are gonna get him for that. And Cain, absolutely, and I'm a fan of Cain. I watched his whole fighting career, but you could have killed somebody that day that didn't do anything to you, dude. And regardless of how you felt, and you try to justify your actions and all that stuff, you can't, dude. You could have killed somebody that day.
Yeah.
They didn't have,
same thing with the fellow prisoners who, if they attack this Harry Eugene Goularte, alleged child molester, they're not right for attacking him in prison.
I agree with you, dude. That no one has the right to kill. But unfortunately, there's some people that don't think like us, and those people that our fellow Americans that say those scumbags in prisons, dude, they're those people that commit crimes against children. They're the ones they really fear. They don't fear anyone else. So it's like necessary to have those convicts treat people like that, because then kids won't be assaulted and stuff like that. I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. Kids are still being I think kids are being assaulted maybe more now than ever. I don't think that's the real solution, man. We do need a return to orderly and swift justice, I say. Yeah. And it needs to be disciplined, not cruel and unusual punishment and celebrating, which I'm not accusing you of doing, but other people celebrate that, oh, they're gonna rape that guy or beat that guy or kill that guy. So.
Yeah, that right there. Yeah, not the rape part. The other two part, absolutely, dude. No, not that I wish. It's just a known fact. You're going to get your ass kicked or possibly die when you go to prison if you do that. It's just common knowledge. And James, can I ask you just one last question? I want to get your advice on it. Do you back the blue in the Army? Like, do you support the cops in the Army?
Generally.
Because the Bible says up until Jesus makes a second coming, the evil people are going to win. There's going to be father turning against son, son against father, beheadings, Antichrist. So why do people say vote or do this when God predicted the outcome before he comes back? And it's not our side, by the sound of it, our side isn't going to win until God comes back. So what's the point of voting people out, or or being nice, or all that stuff, when the Bible predicts that the other side's going to win until Jesus comes back, and then he's going to bring his punishment. But until that, the other side's going to win, man. It's predicted in the Bible.
No, that does. I don't know if it's I don't know if the Bible is saying what you think that it's saying, and the Bible also says never grow weary in doing what's right, and you stand for what's right in life. I don't know what that has to do with so-called backing the blue and supporting the decent part of the military.
Oh, because who do you think is going to be the oppressors? You think it's going to be some old politicians? It's going to be the police and the army that's going to be the oppressors. Not all.
No, I understand. Oh, okay, yeah, I understand your point. They're going to be, they already have been enforcing evil. They've been the enforcers. They've been doing what the politicians have had them do, and I understand that.
Just like
but that's a totally separate issue from giving up on fighting for what's right because the Bible says that the evil is going to win.
Up until he comes back, that's what it says, man. That there's going to be like...
No, man, we got to talk another time about this. Right. Call me again sometime on this. This is an interesting topic, I guess.
Yes, sir. Thank you, James. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
You as well. Take care. All right, guys, we are past the top of the hour. I have more calls to get to. I want to deal with the topic of this phony heroine. Jacinda Ardern came into America and got a standing ovation from the useful idiots at Harvard. But it's time for some music, guys. How about some Justin Vollmar? Last day, and these are the last two tracks of 13 or so people who need chances. This is a 2004 album on Blue Sanct, all one word. Here's Vollmar. Joseph and Rosemary is the first track. Then Lucy of the Blue Hills. And it's like 6 minutes long, a little bit more. And I'll talk you through it. I'll come back and talk you through it. Grin and bear it, you musical Philistines. I think you may enjoy it to a point. Or go shovel snow, press mute, cover your ears, rake leaves, plant your garden. But I'll be back for the rest of hour 2. Justin Vollmar.
Rosemary, you have broken many rules. The devil has a hold on you. He's tying you a noose. And for each crooked step you take, I'm taking nearly 2. Just to keep up with a girl who's failing for a use. Oh, you must be mad. The future's not so bleak. The ocean is as smooth as glass. It should not rain for weeks. And there are not such things to do. We've plenty time to be. So Joseph, go a separate way. Just go and leave me be. Joseph ran away. He cursed all of the sin, yelling, "Devil, come this way, let's see if you can swim." And as it did begin to rain, he dove off of a cliff, shattering the glassy ocean with all that was his. Joseph, he gave up his spirit took Rosemary's sin. Joseph gave up all his spirit, took Rosemary's sin. Lucy wakes up every day in the blue hills far away. She walks to the windowsill and looks to the gray hills. Lucy woke up yesterday and everything outside was gray. What came of her blue hills? Everything was rearranged.
He's no Jandek, says T.T. Jones. That's funny.
So Lucy played along, took things upon herself.
I think he's easier to listen to than Jandek.
Toys in the closet and some books upon the shelf.
Hake on the Fisher-Price piano.
Lucy heard her mother say, "Oh my, it's such a pretty day." She goes to the windowsill, all the gray has rolled away.
Isn't it nice? More Wes Anderson music. No. Wasn't what I was going for. I used to have a book like that. About space. It's cool.
Oh, anything you will. Everything's fine today.
I do think this is the best music Hake plays. Thank you.
So Lucy played along, took things upon herself. Toys in the closet and some books upon the shelf.
You ain't no Daniel Johnston.
Lucy sang along, oh, everything is well. This will be the perfect day to rearrange myself.
What a horrible song. I think he was referring to the prior one. One day Hake is going to trigger a Manchurian candidate accidentally. Ray Liotta played these songs before he passed. Well, thank you for bearing with me through that somewhat beautiful music. I miss fake Ramones. The Huntingtons were great. This music isn't for everybody. Some music isn't for anybody. LOL. Hake the Snake Roberts. Well, I appreciate that, guys. Thank you kindly. Quick super chat from Lorena H. Hi, Hake. Have you heard of Pastor Greg Locke? L-O-C-K-E. He's getting lots of attention for his recent speech informing people they are not Christians if they vote Democrat, and also spoke on how Republicans, quote unquote, just go along with the same agenda. Thoughts? I have not heard of him, but he is right, I think, about that. You're no Christian if you're supporting Democrats. I don't care how many 80% of the blacks who think they're Christians and 96% of the blacks voting for Obama twice. It isn't Christian. You're being suckered and used by someone or something else if you are falling for that. Same thing with anyone who supports the Democrats, by and large. I voted for this black female Democrat, the first black female DA. I didn't vote for her to become the first black female DA. I voted to keep her in, but she lost to that Black Lives Matter supporting Cuban ex-Republican, I think, Gascon. Terrible, huh? Who was supported by the Netflix CEO and his wife and George Soros, too, by the way. Gascon, George Gascon for LADA. What an evil person. Thank you, Jib Jab, for the support. That is cool. No problem, man. That is cool. And no, it's a great topic. Great topic. Thank you, man. Let us see here. Let me get to Matt in California. How are you doing, Matt in California?
Yo, James. I'm doing just fine. Happy Friday.
Thank you. Same to you.
Hey, did you hear that fine woman Kim Kardashian passed the baby bar?
The baby
news,
bar?
It's newsworthy.
What's
the baby bar. You ever hear that?
No, I have not.
Okay,
You're calling
neither.
her. You're calling her.
I thought that was.
Never mind. I don't want to repeat it.
I don't repeat it. Yeah, okay. You just got. It's okay to be polite, even if you got evil women out there. But there's keeping up with the Kardashians. They made a big deal about how this lady Kim Kardashian passed something called the baby bar, which is a goofy name for like a pretest for the bar exam.
Oh.
And yeah.
So this was last year, huh? She passed the baby bar exam. She posted on social media back in December of last year.
That may be true. Maybe I'm catching an old episode. I'm not up with it. But
you watched that show?
I do not watch that show. No, that's not true. I do watch that show. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have never seen it, so I can't say. I can't say.
You're better for it.
You're hooked, huh?
For not. Yeah. I think what struck me most about the story, if you could call it that, was it was in the context of her helping a criminal death row inmate to have his sentence commuted. A man, I don't know his name.
Was it a black?
A black man, a young black man at the time murdered a white man in the front of his home, stealing his car, and
a white man was stealing the black man's car, and the black man murdered the white car thief. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. No.
The black man was stealing the white man's car, and he murdered the white man while stealing the car.
That's right. That's
carjacking
what
type
the case
of thing.
Was, and the facts showed that, and this, to make an old long story short, he went to prison for it, and he and his conspirator were sentenced to death, and this evil lady Kim was just bragging on the show about how they got him commuted, and that was a big deal.
Wow.
And
yeah, she was setting up meetings with Trump. And,
okay.
To I don't know about this particular case, but she was setting up meetings with Trump to get some black female out of prison, and that worked.
Yeah.
She got Trump to let some black female out of prison.
Yeah. Maybe she should have been Amber Heard's defense attorney. Maybe that would have been a better outcome.
Man.
It would have gotten her out of trouble. I don't know if you can keep Amber Heard's mouth shut, though. She kind of is her own worst enemy in that sense. But that's just what it's got me thinking about, just, kind of legal cases. And
these
stuff.
women, it's bad enough we have lawyers, with the lawyers/liars that we have. Now we have young activist females. And I use the term young kind of loosely. She's my age. She's 40. I think.
Do you think Kim's cute, Hake?
Her face is pretty. I guess with all that makeup.
Oh, how nice. How nice. You're being nice. I know the stereotype about lawyers is that they're crooked, but you don't think lawyers are all bad, do you?
No, just most.
Just not all, but most. And yeah, it's too bad because it kind of, they call it a perversion of justice.
It really is. This woman is not for. She's a feel sorry for the blacks type of a person.
Yeah, and
women
and
makes me want to spit. They're not about justice.
No, I don't. Not in this case. Not at all. And you, that's what you sort of see on the TV. These things are sort of advertised. I think that's really what inspired me to call in. It's just like, topically speaking, nobody gives a crap about a busted old lady, but the fact that it's sort of like promoted as news, it's a feel like. I'll come clean. My wife's watching the Kardashians, and she's got it on. I tell her, turn that crap off, and she says, okay, I'm watching what I like. And so it's on, and I can't ignore it in the other room, but like it's almost it and other content like it is offered as like an alternative to some of the more feel bad topics that the media is putting out there. Like with what's going on in Texas in the last week, and my poor wife, she's nervous all the time. She's got I'm not getting into it, but
that doesn't reflect well on you, man.
It does not. No, it doesn't. It does not.
Why don't you cut off her cell phone access? Treat her like a child.
You're certainly right.
No, I don't know. You got to get a hold of yourself.
I hear you. Hey, I hear you. I could get into that, but nobody wants to hear me get into that. You do have to set an example and lead by example.
I'm surprised to hear that you're married. How old are you?
I'm 34.
Wow. You've called my show before?
Yes.
Wow. Well, I appreciate you. Does she catch the Hake report?
I always catch the Hake report.
No, I'm saying your wife.
Vaush last night. Oh, no, she doesn't watch your show.
Oh, why not? The heck?
That's a good point. I should say, hey, you should check out. He was talking about Kim Kardashian the other day. Yeah, good point. I missed you on. After this call, I'm going to check you out on the debate. It's the so-called debate you had with Vaush.
Oh, okay.
I'm interested to hear what you had to say about morals and morality.
Yeah.
Ought to be good.
You work? You're working?
Yes.
Your wife works?
Yes.
You have kids?
No.
Oh, okay. How long you been married?
14 years.
14 years? So you've been married since 20?
Yeah.
Is she older than you or younger than you?
She's younger than me.
Younger.
Yes.
What are you that you got married that young? What are you religiously?
What even? Say it again.
What are you religiously and ethnically, racially?
I'm a white Christian.
And she is.
I'm a white Christian conservative.
And she is.
And she's a lovely girl. She doesn't know what she is. She's a liberal. She's how would she describe? How would she
white?
Describe herself to me? Yes.
And did you think that she was a Christian back when you met her? When you married her?
Yeah, I did. Yes.
Were you a liberal back then?
I do. I was in a fallen state. Yes, back then. Back when we started courting.
And you were a liberal.
Ago.
You were in a fallen state, but you considered yourself liberal back then?
I did call myself liberal back then. Yes.
Wow, man. Well.
Yeah.
How did you catch my show? How did you
try to rationalize how the heck I'm watching Kim Kardashian?
No, I'm just wondering how did you find my show? Just out of last quick question. How did you find my show?
It's on after Good Morning with Jesse.
And how did you find the Jesse Lee Peterson show?
The algorithm.
Oh, nice. So you through YouTube some way.
Yeah, watching YouTube came up, and I think it's the same story.
And how long has that been?
2 years since COVID.
And you're doing JLP's silent prayer. Have you done the JLP silent prayer, forgiving your
the
mother?
Silent prayer, yes, it will change. Hey, everybody listen out there, it will change your life. You need to know yourself.
They're not going to listen to you, man.
Hey, that's fine. Just don't listen to me. They shouldn't. They shouldn't listen to me.
You did the forgiveness and all that stuff?
Yes.
Cool, man.
Are
you in the LA area, or where are you in California? If you don't mind my asking, not to be don't dox yourself.
LA. Yes.
Okay. Have I met you at church or something?
I have not met you at church. I was talking to my dad about coming to see you guys for the men's forum, first Thursday of the month.
Nice, man. Well, maybe I'll see you.
He canceled on me, so I got to go it alone.
Oh, well, next week should be...
He's busy, though.
Next week... Wait, it's next week, right? Yeah, it should be the men's forum unless there's something else coming up. So first Thursday of the month, 7 p.m. here at Bond. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate the call. Take care.
Yeah. Hey, take care. Hey, see ya.
All right. Bye. Before I get back to calls, quick couple of super chats. Lord Bibby42 states with a super chat on Streamlabs, I just noticed you broke 13,000 subs, Hake, referring to YouTube. And it's funny because I feel like a few months ago I broke 13,000 subs, so there must have been a culling by YouTube. You know, they get rid of what they think are fake subs or something like that, or fake accounts, bots or whatever, I don't know. So maybe there was a culling, because I feel like I broke 13,000 and was congratulated by another person before already once. But anyway, congrats and good luck on the Ding-a-ling round table tonight. Yeah, the Hippy Dippy round table. 3.5 hours from 5 to 8:30 p.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time. Those dingbats won't know what hit them. That's cool, Lord Bibby, thank you. Sean Swindon gave a super chat stating, greetings from Johannesburg, South Africa. 80% of divorces in America are instituted by the women. Over 90% of the time, the reasons given are financial. Women are out of control because men have become weak and docile. Men, stand up for your kids. That's kind. Sion gave a super chat. Oh, yeah, she was on the line. She states, I can't hold on the phone, Massa. Don't like it when I'm on the phone. Oh, Massa don't like it when I'm on the phone. Good debate with the nasty guy, referring to Vaush, I guess. You are an individual. You stand out. You school them. Maybe they'll learn something. Jesse taught well. What is wrong with society? You can't think for yourself. Yeah. Very true. Let me check over here on Odyssey. Stream going okay, Odyssey? Press 1 if it is still. I know on JLP's stream, we had to reset multiple times, and I don't think it ever really fixed the stuff. What a shame. That's over on Odyssey. Odyssee. They're trying to keep things, improve things. Maybe there's something we can do on our end that may help. I don't know. Thank you guys for the support there. Let me tell you about Jacinda Ardern before too much time passes. This is the this is the phony heroine, not necessarily the drug, the female fake hero from New Zealand. She came all the way over to quote-unquote America, and far-left Twitter promoted this thing. Jacinda Ardern's Harvard speech on so-called gun control gets a standing ovation. New Zealand's PM, Prime Minister, female Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, who's like within a few years of me, I think she's not much older than me, Jacinda Ardern, in her early 40s, I think, gave the commencement address at Harvard University on Thursday. She received a standing ovation when she talked about her country's ability to unite and ban military-style semi-automatic and assault rifles. What a bunch of dumb, useful idiots. Sorry, kids. Apologies, I guess. Pardon me. And this is promoted by Bloomberg Quick Take. A very sloppy... Bloomberg Quick Take is very sloppy. They've put out fake news that I've talked about before. I can't remember specifically. But this is clip 11 from Bloomberg. Quick take. PM Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, former Catholic, gets a standing ovation when discussing how New Zealand passed laws to ban quality guns. She gave the Harvard commencement address, that's graduation, days after the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. And she's supposed to meet with the White House too, but she got the China virus earlier, and so it's kind of uncertain. But listen to this mess from this messy, evil woman and the dumb, useful idiots who are educated at Harvard, Harvard-educated, useful idiots cheering the destruction of America's rights and New Zealand's rights. What a shame. Here, listen to this. Look at her young face. That's embarrassing. Have that thing be the leader of your country? It's in Cambridge, Massachusetts, by the way.
And while this moment feels incredibly daunting to me right now, I do take comfort knowing there are around 30 New Zealanders studying here.
She got a mouthful of teeth.
And statistically, at least one of them will be my cousin. In the past 10 years, we have passed laws that include everything from the introduction of gay marriage and the banning of conversion therapy, right through to embedding a 1.5-degree climate change target into law, banning military-style semi-automatics and assault rifles.
Learn how to speak English, woman. Sorry, Kiwis. I like you. None of that's good. Look at them standing up celebrating the destruction of the law-abiding people's rights.
And
those educated people.
And the decriminalization of abortion.
Oh, yay! Decriminalizing killing the babies. And that's Bloomberg. Quick take. Interesting that came from Michael Bloomberg's outlet. Not a Christian, by the way. Michael Bloomberg, right? That billionaire guy, Democrat, former mayor of New York City, ran for president. We played his ads. And some people fell for it and voted for him. Suckers. Before he lost in the primary. And people got mad at us. This woman talking about abortion and banning conversion therapy. Sorry, I'm just butchering that Kiwi accent. Shout out to the Kiwis. Shout out. Let me read some of these tweets. There was this funny, I call it funny, tweet. Oh, oops, hold on. There was this funny tweet in response to her thing. Everyone wants Jacinda Ardern to be their leader, writes Diana Rose on Twitter. This is just some random Twitter user, right? Oh my gosh, random. Climate change, same-sex marriage, decriminalize abortion, and gun control. The standing ovation from Harvard gives me hope, writes this Diana Rose woman. I'm presuming that's a woman. What a joke, huh? Climate change, same-sex marriage, decriminalize abortion, gun control. None of that's good. Everyone wants Jacinda Ardern to be their leader. This woman is not a leader. She's a phony. The New York Slimes shared a quote. The failing New York Slimes shared a quote May 25th. After a mass shooting left 51 dead in 2019, New Zealand sprang into action, quickly banning the communist New York Times, right? Enemies of America. Quickly banning most semi-automatic weapons and launching a buyback scheme. I'm reading some of these tweets. And they share on this New York Times tweet, this big old words, when we saw something like that happen, everyone said, never again. Oh, there's those words, never again. Give me a break. She was the country's prime minister in 2019, right? Was the 51 people dead? That was the mosque shooting. Was that the one? By that Australian guy, Brenton Tarrant? Speaking of the Christchurch massacre after Tuesday's mass shooting in Texas. So she's saying, oh, we can be like never again. Yeah, okay, lady. Bloomberg says she will lead a trade delegation to the U.S. this week, yet to confirm a meeting with Sleepy Joe because she had a China virus infection. So she was going to meet with the White House. She went on the Stephen Colbert's show. You know that goofy fake Christian? Did you know that Colbert thinks that he's a Christian? Stephen Colbert? That snarky, phony, he used to be funny. Back when he pretended to be a conservative. That was kind of funny. That was a funny bit, I felt, at times. Now he's just pathetic. She went on his show to talk about pragmatic gun control response to mass shooting. And this woman, I'm going to show you this woman. She wowed the far left enemies of America. Foreign outlet, The Guardian, said, this is a headline from them. Jacinda Ardern wows Harvard, wows them with New Zealand's lesson on gun control and democracy, meaning mob rule. The masses of useful idiots voting away the rights of the sensible people. By way of mass immigration and misguided women voting and brainwashing the generations of the young people. The issues we navigate as a society will only intensify. The disinformation will only increase because you're out there putting it out. This is a quote from her, right? The pull into the comfort of our tribes will be magnified, but we have it within us to ensure that this doesn't mean we fracture. She's pretending that she's uniting people. She's not uniting people. She's disgusting. She's been given an honorary doctorate from Harvard University and used her speech to rally against disinformation and called on social media giants to limit its spread, disinformation spread, by recognizing their power and acting on it. This evil woman. And look at this. I saw this. This was in the Twitter. They do these, what do you call that? They curate a bunch of tweets for you to look at, right? This is a fantastic photo of Jacinda Ardern at Harvard, and it's a selfie by it's a horrific image. A bunch of females with their graduation caps. And this silly-looking woman, not only is she silly-looking, she's a silly woman. It's not a fantastic photo of her. The girls, because they're young, the smiles are still pretty, but you can tell that inside they're dark. They don't have any business being educated over at Harvard University. But look at that goofy, horsey grin from this evil woman. And I know, like there's some hard to look at sensible conservative people. That's not a good picture of her. What the heck? She got a mouthful of teeth. At least they're white and straight, but they're like, come on. This woman, and she's evil, by the way, and just a typical Gen X or young Gen X or old millennial woman. Remember this. Here's Jacinda Ardern with her headscarves. The Guardian, the Enemies of America Guardian, how Jacinda Ardern showed the world what a leader should be. This is from 2019. 2019 was the mass shooting at a couple of mosques, Muslim mosques at Christchurch, New Zealand. You do the math. Her empathy for survivors of the Christchurch shooting, her swift implementation of practical measures, and her refusal to be sucked into an anti-Islamic rhetoric provide a lesson other countries should follow. And it has a picture of her hugging a Muslim woman, and she's wearing a hijab, the head rag, headscarf thing. It's an article by Nesreen Malik. she proceeded to address other world leaders by saying, there are some things we need to confront collectively as quote-unquote leaders. In her mind, she's a leader. Internationally. She specifically mentioned social media and broached the topic of regulation. We cannot, for instance, allow some of the challenges we face with social media to be dealt with on a case-by-case basis, meaning she wants massive regulation of tech platforms by evil governments that are enemies of the people. What an evil person. She also hated Trump. She pointed a remark to Trump when he called to console her and offer assistance. Trump called Jacinda Ardern after the Muslim terror attack. The terror attack on the Muslims, anti-Muslim terror attack by Brenton Tarrant, the eco-fascist who did not like the fact that the Muslims were making so many babies and polluting the world, or polluting his world, right? So he freaked out on them. And he was an accelerationist, too. He wanted the attack on the Second Amendment. And she fell right in line with it. What an evil woman. A useful idiot leading other useful idiots. There's another picture of her standing with a bunch of Muslim women. She's when Trump called her, she asked only for sympathy and love for all Muslim communities, even the radical Islamic terrorist ones. Oh my gosh. At the same time as she disowned the suspected attacker, she attempted to reverse the narrative that it was immigrants or outsiders who agitate white natives into restiveness. What an evil woman. Blaming the whites. That's called victim blaming. Because the whites and the Christians don't like Muslims invading and setting up mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand. What the heck? Many of them are nice and put up with it, but then she acts like, oh, it's only the whites' fault. Just like the evil people who only blame the men in so-called domestic violence cases and don't point out what the women are doing. It's very typical of these people to put out fake diagnoses of the problems. You know who else is evil? This article by The Guardian also points out Justin Trudeau. She is a moral politician, writes this evil woman for The Guardian. In a small country that allows for no-frills leadership, her no-nonsense election slogan was, "Let's do this." Only a woman would fall for that. She still presides over a country where anti-Muslim sentiment is rising. Wonder why that is. According to New Zealand Human Rights Commission, which is an enemy of New Zealand. Reported instances of racism are also on the rise. A third of all complaints to the commission regarding racist discrimination. She's a so-called leader of the Labour Party. Justin Trudeau he doesn't like to tolerate whites or free speech either. He's evil. Let's see. Anything else about this Jacinda Ardern? Oh yeah, she lives in with her boyfriend, and they have like a kid or two together, unmarried, even though she was raised to be a Mormon, and then she turned into a liberal evil woman. Fake leader. There's a picture of her at the UN General Assembly. This is NBC number 2. Jacinda headscarf, NBC 2. She's not wearing a headscarf in this, but it's from this NBC article. I see a picture of her sitting next to her partner, among a bunch of other people, and the fat little baby from 2018. I think she had a baby while in office. While being the so-called prime minister of the country. How far you guys have fallen, New Zealand. Look at these pictures from the New York Slimes, the New York Times. Her wearing this headscarf, kissing up to the Muslims after the terror attack. It was an anti-Muslim terror attack, but there's no reason to dress up like a Muslim lady. Look at that. And then she holds her chest, holds her her throat and like holds out her hand, holds her chest or whatever, and holds out her hand. Oh yeah. She acts like she's the Virgin Mary. Only the Muslim version of Muslim kiss-up Virgin Mary. Hugging people. Look at this melodrama. What an embarrassment. But that's what the New York Slime celebrates, women leading. What happens when women stop leading like men? Jacinda Ardern, Nancy Pelosi, and the power of female grace, writes this woman named Tina Brown for the New York Slimes. Look at that. All hugging this other woman all tight. Just a dumb photo op. Fake humility from this fake woman. And the Harvard graduates, look at that pained expression, Lisa says over there on Facebook. Yeah. And the Harvard graduates eat this up. She thinks she's Mother Teresa. Anyway. Is that enough about her? Children out of wedlock she has. I'm shaking my head. Let's get to another female-minded liberal on the line. Tony in California. How are you doing, Tony?
Good morning, Hank. Hank with the lies. How you doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
Well, Hank, let me ask you a question. I talked to your leader, Jesse, this morning, and I'm going to ask you the same question. 23 years ago was Sandy Hook, and now to this day, 311,000 children have been murdered at school shootings. What is the solution for you and your conservative thinking tank?
You said 23 years ago was Sandy Hook?
Yes.
No, it wasn't, man. It was 10 years. It's not even 10 years ago.
Okay, well, how about the first school shooting there? How about that?
Oh, 23 years ago was Columbine, maybe.
Columbine. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
Get your shootings straight, man.
Well, 311,000 students are dead because of the Republicans refused to change the gun law.
That's dumb.
That's what?
That's dumb. I don't know. I don't know where you're getting your numbers, but I don't know where you're getting your numbers, Tony. But let me just tell you why these students are getting murdered. Because they're being raised. Hold on, man. I'm answering. Putting Tony on hold. Because children of Satan are raising them, and the children of Satan are running like anti-family, anti-Christian, and anti-God world. Guns are not the problem. Guns are not the problem, Tony.
If they didn't have a gun in their hand, they wouldn't be dead.
Ooh, real smart.
Come on, there, Jesse, our student. Come on, Jesse, student. Reply to that one. If they didn't have a gun in their hand, these students wouldn't be dead.
And if nobody had a gun in their hands, those people would still be shooting to this day.
Say what?
If good people didn't have guns in their hands to combat the evil people with guns in their hands, then the evil people with guns in their hands would be shooting to this day.
To this day.
Once again, if there was no gun...
Come on, answer that, Mr. Come on, answer that, Mr. Louis Farrakhan follower.
We wouldn't have this problem, Hank.
If guns did not exist?
If they didn't exist, we wouldn't be having this talk today.
But it's not a problem. It's a symptom.
Wait a minute, Hank.
You're not going to get rid of guns, Tony.
Okay, I'll tell you one thing. Once again, I understand your logic because America
you don't understand logic?
Was built on violence.
No, man. Okay, Mr. Baby Farrakhan.
On violence. It was founded on violence and it was built on violence.
Are you a woman? Are you a woman?
Come on, but can we have an intelligent talk and say
are you a woman?
Names, man? Why you keep calling
Don't dodge the question. Are you a woman?
I'll tell you what, look at my page to see if I'm a woman.
What? We're on the phone, buddy, and I'm not going to look at you. Are you a woman?
Okay, then, so can you...
Why are you dodging the question? You don't want to answer the question?
Do I sound like a woman?
You sound like a woman.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have no logic.
That's your opinion.
Yeah, you have no logic.
And everyone has
Guns
one.
are here to stay. Bad guys will always have guns. Bad guys include people in the... Hold on, man. Bad guys include people in the government. Have you seen how evil the government is? And you want to give up the guns from the good people? If guns did not exist. You can try to disarm the bad guys by disarming everybody ham-fistedly and give them weak little guns. In New York City, they don't even let you have more than 7 rounds, I think. But that's not a solution, man. And typical liberals only want to address the symptoms, but liberal society creates this.
Can I ask you a question?
You were on hold until now. Liberal society creates this hopelessness and devastation and evil and anger that causes these mass shootings. Most mass shootings are done by liberals. All mass shootings are done by liberals because...
Really?
Yeah.
All these Trump supporters out here I guess January 6th...
How many Trump supporters... There were no Trump supporters who did any mass shootings on January 6th. How many people were shot in January 6th?
About 4.
No. One Trump supporter was shot by a black...
How many people died?
One female Trump supporter was shot by a black affirmative action Capitol Hill police officer, or Capitol police officer. 4 people died, but the rest of them were not shot. Tony, you're a mess.
6 people died because of January 6th. 6 people, not 4. 6.
No, I don't know. Whatever. You can blame it on January 6th, but people die. Especially when there's a mismanagement of security with an event that big.
Let me ask you this thing.
Yeah.
The Republicans and the conservatives are so against abortion, but once a child get here, you don't give a hoot about them getting murdered in schools, playgrounds, or anything else. Even blacks on black Chicago crimes that you always speak on. Why don't you put gun control for everybody and eliminate this madness that the white folks have brought upon this earth?
The white folks by inventing guns?
Is that what man?
So the white folks inventing guns is why there's hell on earth.
Man. The violence white folks brought upon this earth.
No. White folks are not violent like black people are, Tony. First of all,
no,
they're not. They're not.
Ain't no black person inventing no gun. White folks.
I know, but black people with guns is more frequently bad news than it is white folks with guns.
No, that's a lie.
It's the truth.
Folks have more murder. White folks have murdered more people around the world than any black folks in any country in this world.
Maybe if you include the wars, I don't know, man. I doubt it.
How many bombs that black dropped on countries? None.
That's because they can't make
0.
bombs.
No, because white folks are building bombs, they're building nukes, and they're scared of their own inventions.
You're the one scared of our inventions.
Y'all are mass murderers.
No, man.
Upon this world.
What a psycho.
And God gonna get you. God gonna get y'all.
You're silly invoking God after saying such ignorant stuff. Lies.
God's gonna get y'all for y'all mass murderers.
Oh, thank God I started to look at the super chats over here. I got some super chats for you.
Oh, here we go with the stupidity.
Oh, you think that we haven't embarked on stupidity with your call? Okay, there is no way, says Asmodor. 311,000 children have been murdered at schools.
Tell him to do the research.
He has. Asmodor is a better researcher than you. He's our resident historian, and he's also he's our fact checker.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. This is where Tony gets the number, says Asmodor with another super chat.
Murderers.
This is where Tony gets the number. It counts every student at every school anytime a gun even gets brought on campus. And it's from the Washington Examiner. More than 311,000 have suffered gun violence in schools since Columbine, according to a report. And Washington Examiner is supposed to be a conservative outlet. but it's a database maintained by the Washington Compost. They've suffered some form of gun violence, and it references 311,000 children at 331 schools, have been involved in a shooting that resulted in some form of injury or death, according to the data. So that at least 185 children, teachers, and bystanders were killed. So 185 or 311,000. Make your pick on what the truth of the situation is. And another 369 were injured. So let's see, 185 plus 369, that is less than 600, right? Something like that, I think. Yeah, it's less than 600. And this guy's trying to claim that it's 311,000. Man, you are ignorant, Tony. It's bad news to give confusing information to blacks like you.
Excuse me, 311,000 been traumatized and deaf. Come on, man. Make it make sense, bro.
Traumatized what? Traumatized.
Come on, make it make sense.
Traumatized.
Come on, make it make sense. You see your
Will
best
you
friend
shut
get
up and
gunned
let
down,
me
get
make
your
it make
head blown
sense?
off that
I put him on hold again. He's running his mouth. Less talky, more listening. Less talking, more listening. It doesn't count kids murdered or even injured by guns. Tony is the R word for slow. Tony, who is going to send, Tony, who are you going to send to confiscate the guns? The cops who were afraid to go into a school with one shooter, or the military who couldn't secure Afghanistan after over 20 years? Who's going to take the guns away from the people?
God, because y'all going to disappear.
And who's going to take away the guns from the blacks? Hey, Tony. Hey, Tony. Hey, Tony. Tony. Tony.
What?
Tony.
Yes.
Who's going to take the guns from the blacks when the whites are gone?
God.
Oh, okay. So he's going to wipe out the black people too?
He's going to wipe out all evil.
How about the blacks?
Didn't I say, what did you understand what word all mean, A-L-L mean? All
so he's going to wipe you
evil.
out?
All evil.
He's going to wipe you out?
I don't sleep with my gun like you do.
Oh, you think guns are the only evil?
I'm just saying. I don't sleep with it like y'all do.
No, I said you, and you being evil. Is God going to wipe you out?
No, for what reason? I help
because you're
people.
evil.
I don't judge no one. I don't.
Yeah,
put
you
down
do.
No one. I help people.
A lot of people help people.
But you definitely got people right down the street from where y'all broadcasting, and y'all overlook them and talk about them every day. Y'all just
good. That's not the type of help that they need.
Well, what kind of help do they need then? Why are you not providing it? Y'all got the money. You got a credit union. Why you not helping nobody?
Why should you help people who don't help themselves?
Because we heard of mental illness. Why don't you do something about it?
You do something about it. You know so much.
No.
You're a woman. Are you a woman?
I don't have a credit union. I don't have a
Are you a woman?
Union. I don't have a
Are you a
credit
woman?
union with $300,000 in it.
Are you a woman? The $300,000 is not in a credit union, dude. That's the building fund. Are you a woman?
What's building fund?
Are you a woman? Are you a woman?
Building fund for
Tony,
how long?
Are you a woman?
Y'all got on that?
Are you a woman?
That's a stupid question, man. Don't waste my time on that.
All right, goodbye. Man. Okay. Thank you guys for the super chats. Let me read one more super chat. Yikes. I didn't realize we were like 5 till. Lord H. Sizzle says, they say the eyes are the windows to the souls. Look deep into Jacinda's eyes. She is soulless. Can't you just picture her in satanic garb, chanting to Satan? I mean, come on. Am I right? I have not looked into Jacinda Ardern's eyes. Man, okay, we have 1 minute, really. This is very undisciplined of me. Lord Grimm in Washington, D.C., how are you doing?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, man, what's up with you, brother?
Hey, doing well.
All right. So you can hear me good, right? I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay, good. So, first of all, man, I just want to say guns are not the problem. I mean, people who say that obviously listen to too much MSNBC, CNN, and stuff like that. The problem is the mental condition of whoever has the gun in their hand. Like you made a good point. Okay, we take the guns from the good people, but what do we do about the bad people who have the guns? I mean, obviously, a gun doesn't decide to shoot. It's the person who holds the gun. And, you know, if you got someone coming after you with a gun and you don't have a gun, what are you going to do? You're just going to obviously get shot. So we need people to defend themselves and protect themselves. And not everyone has bad intentions, but at the same time, you have people out there who might do have bad intentions. And it totally has nothing to do with the gun. The gun doesn't have a brain. The gun is not, you know, like forcing somebody to do something crazy. You know what I mean? It just depends on the mental condition. And for an example, the little young man who went to that school and shot up all those kids and the teacher and stuff, he obviously was troubled. He had no love. His father admitted that. He wasn't there for him to provide him with the love he needed and stuff like that. And obviously that played a huge part into why he did what he did. It had nothing at all to do with the actual weapon he held in his hand. He took it upon himself to use that weapon for bad. You know what I mean? And that's just simple as that. You know, that's just point blank simple.
Yeah.
So the guns are not the problem. I mean, if you're a good person,
it's the heart.
And a bad person is coming after you with a gun, you obviously need to protect yourself, and that's what it's for.
Right.
If someone wants to use it for bad, then you know that's obviously that individual who wants to use it for bad.
Yeah.
So we can't go after the people with the guns, not the people with the guns, but we can't go after the guns themselves. We have to go after the people out here who are like literally just troubled and they lack love and and all that stuff, man. And their parents have failed them, so they grow up and they become a little bit twisted in the mind and they do heinous things and bad things, and that's the root of the actual cause.
It
not
is,
the
man.
gun itself.
It's true. Man, Lord
You know what I
Grimm,
mean?
I'm sorry to cut it off, but I have to close.
I got you.
You're so right. I mean, these people don't know what they're talking about. They're going after this. They're shallow. That's why they're going after the gun. That's why they go after whites when they think that there's racism. They're shallow people looking at the appearance of things. Thank you, man, and take care. Have a good weekend, Lord Grimm.
You too. Thank you.
You're one man I wouldn't mind calling neighbor. That's one N-word I wouldn't mind calling Lord Grimm.
I wanted to talk about that, but it's all good.
We'll hit on it next week if there's a chance, man, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. All right. Bye. Cut him off. Man, Blazing Hogs out of Dayton, Ohio wanted to say racism is easily tracked online and clamped down on, but not killers. Very true. And a super chat from Brandon M says, hey, would you rather be AOC or Ardern's dental hygienist? They both got clean teeth, but it's a full mouthful of teeth. And no, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be anywhere near their horsey faces. Thank you, Brandon M. Appreciate that. Asmodor states, I don't judge nobody. I helps people, says Tony right after he said whites are evil and will disappear. God gonna get ya. I know. It's ridiculous. TheHakeReport.com/appearances for my upcoming appearances, guys. Some of them. Thank you. And The Fallen State and Nick Stream. And then Church with JLP. Take care, guys. Adios.